Welcome back with a smiling face. Links to previous episodes are given in the video description, so don't forget to like, subscribe and share the video. Beyond the Red River. Episode 2. Chapter 8. Lauren's point of view. Zach just left, and it's kind of weird that I felt as comfortable with him as I did. It's also strange how attracted I am to him. It doesn't make sense. I shouldn't be attracted to anyone. I'm supposed to be partially connected to Nathan still. Maybe it's the emotional abuse or the distance combined with rejecting him, but I feel nothing for him. Nothing good anyway. I feel pain thinking about it, the whole situation, because it hurt me so much to go through that, but none of that pain is because I miss Nathan. I guess it's hard to miss someone who has never said anything nice to me. He never spoke to me before we found out we were mated, and he was only cruel to me after. I keep wondering why Moon Goddess would pair us together. I don't want to see Nathan ever again, but Zach, that's a different story. It was weird, when he was holding my hand and rubbing it, I liked it. I didn't take my hand away, I told myself to a few times, but my body didn't cooperate with my brain. I can't believe I gave him my number too. I chickened out with my last name, though, because I didn't want him to look me up or go poking around and alerting Nathan to where I am. Although by now, I'm sure he's dealt with his bruised ego, and he's moved on to wedding preparations with Blair, and it feels so good that I'm okay with that. The rest of my night went well. I met lots of people. In this small town, this is the gathering spot. I even met a guy in his mid-late 20s, named Mark. He said he recently opened a gym in town. I promised him I would check it out, and I fully intend to too. With how welcoming everyone is, I can see myself fitting in just fine here. By the time 1 a.m. comes around, and Peggy locks up, I'm exhausted. It's easy to feed off of everyone's energy, but as soon as the bar cleared out, so did my energy. Peggy does the cashing out while I wipe down the bar and all the tables. So, how did you like it? You were a natural tonight. You have great energy, and customers loved you, Peggy says. I actually did like it, and everyone was so nice. I admit. So, can I keep scheduling you in? If you'll have me, I'd love that, I smile. Oh, I'll have you all right. You were great tonight. I need help around here. We sold so much more alcohol tonight, too, because people could get drinks faster, so they drank more. Some of the men might have been drinking more so they could get a chance to talk to you too, she smiles. Here, darlin', your share of the tips tonight, Peggy adds. I look down at the stack of cash. Wow! How much is here? I ask. Just about $200. Don't get too excited, Saturdays are our best night so that you won't make that every night, she smiles. We're closed on Sundays, and you can have Mondays off too because it's so slow. Tuesday Thursday 6 to 10 p.m., and Friday Saturday 5 p.m. 1 or 2 a.m. How does that sound? Peggy asks. That's great. I really appreciate this, Peggy. Thank you so much. I wrap Peggy into a hug and give her a big squeeze. I wake up, and the sun is shining through my window next to my bed. I feel so rested and good. I look at my clock, it says 11:23 a.m. I am shocked. I never sleep in like this. I reach over and grab my phone. I didn't check it when I got up here last night because I was too tired. I see my mom called, Julian called 7 times, Sadie called twice, and I have a text from a number I don't recognize. The text reads, "It's Zach Slade, the alpha everyone adores." I burst out laughing. His last name is in caps too. It must have driven him nuts that I didn't give him my last name. Should I text him back? Part of me wants to, but what would I say? I can't think of anything clever or cute to respond to, so maybe I'll just leave it. I decided I'd call Julian. Julian, hello. Me, hey. Julian, wow, you sound good. Me, thanks. I am doing good. I feel a lot better. I think with severing the bond and getting some distance from him, I don't feel any pull to him anymore, so I feel really great. Julian, really? Well, I'm glad to hear it. I have to be honest, I wasn't expecting you to be this good. Me, to be honest, me either. It's a welcome surprise. So anyway, how's everything going over there? Julian, I haven't seen him. Blair went home with the intention to pack her things and move here, but he's been locked in his room ever since. I think he's accepted it. I don't think he's going to come and look for you and drag you back here so you can watch him get married. Me? Well, it sounds like he's moving on, that's good news. Julian and I talk for a little, and when I get off the phone, I give a quick call to my mom and Sadie. Then I get up and make myself some eggs and toast. Then I get ready. I put on some navy blue leggings, a white tank top and put my hair in a bun. I grab some gym shoes, my bag, and a water bottle. First things first, I hit the gym. I follow the directions that Mark gave me, which is not difficult. It's about a 2-minute drive from Peggy's. It's in a strip mall, and right beside it is a laundry mat. How convenient is that? I can run back and forth to change loads while I work out. That'll come in handy. Lauren, you made it. Mark says, surprised. I said I would, I smile. A lot of people tell me they are going to come to check out my gym, but they don't end up actually showing up. Especially not the next day, he explains. The gym is bright, and there's a lot of good quality equipment. There are 5 to 6 guys working out. Well, I actually love coming to the gym. I'm surprised at the quality of this place, considering it's such a small town, I admit. He smiles with pride and looks at me funny. Thank you. Yeah, it's been my dream, but business can be a little slow. I'd like to be able to get more people in here, but it seems like a lot of people think this place is just for really buff dudes. Really? Well, maybe you could try catering to different demographics. Like maybe do a circuit class or a spin class. Maybe yoga or kickboxing. If you can get more women in here, your average Joe might be less intimidated to come and work out here too. I suggest. Mark is nodding his head and deep in thought. That's not a bad idea, he muses. I pay for a membership and then get to work. I'm listening to music while I work out, and I hear a ding. I check my phone. Zach Slade, I'm starting to think maybe you gave me the wrong number. I smile, and I feel excited that he's texting me, but I also can't miss the opportunity to mess with him. Me? New phone. Who dis? Zach Slade. Zach. Who's this? I wish I could see this face. Me? Zach who? Zach Slade, are you serious? Me? No. Zach Slade? Me? Ha ha ha, I was just kidding. Zach Slade, Lauren? Me? Yes? Zach Slade, I don't know if I even believe it's you right now. I take a quick selfie. Oh, not that one. I take one more, and then send it to him. Zach Slade, you had me for a second. Where are you? Looks like a gym. Me, Mark's Total Fitness Center. Zach Slade, it's nice to see you are immersing yourself in the town. I just wanted to make sure you really had my number in case you needed it. Me, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Such a gentleman. Zach Slade, I have you fooled already. Me, haha, I was just being polite. Zach Slade, ouch. Me, lol, just kidding. I find myself laughing as I put my phone away. There's something about him that I am drawn to. There's a level of comfort with him, like I've known him for years. I find myself thinking about him a lot. Too much. When I'm done with my workout, I head out and explore the town. Every store is in the center of the town. I see a local store called A Little Bit of Everything. I go inside and look around. I pick up a couple of towels, a big white fluffy down duvet, a few throw pillows, and I also pick up a plant. The blankets are okay in my place, but I love feathered duvets, and I want to be comfortable in my tiny home. Then I head to the grocery store and pick up some things. By the time I get home, it's 5 p.m. I get all my purchases in my place, and put away everything, then make myself some dinner. I end the night by talking to Sadie and watching a movie on my laptop in bed. Chapter 9. Zach's point of view. The last few days have been weird. I can't get Lauren out of my head. I didn't text her after Sunday when she was at the gym. I wanted to, but Paul said I should play it cool. I don't want to play it cool with her, but I listened to him because I don't want to push her away and ruin my chances. I went to Peggy's on Monday, hoping to see her, but she wasn't there. Peggy said she's off Mondays, but she would be working Tuesday. I went there for dinner on Tuesday alone, just to see her because I couldn't get her out of my head. It wasn't busy, so we chatted and joked around. I enjoy her presence so much, and she consumes my thoughts. It seems like each time I see her, the pull to her is stronger. I was going to head there for drinks last night, but Paul said I would seem desperate if I went every night. So I'm going to head there for dinner tonight. I never go to Peggy's during the week, but I can't stay away, I need to see her again. Where are you going, Alpha? Malcolm asks. Oh, I'm headed to Peggy's for a bite to eat and a beer. You've been going there a lot lately. Did they get a new cook or something? He asks, C0CKING an eyebrow. Are you keeping tabs on me now, Malcolm? I ask, and I use an intimidating alpha tone because I can't stand the thought of him pressing me on this. Of course not. Sorry, Alpha. Jenny is feeling better. Did you want some company? The first instinct is, no, I don't. I don't want anyone to get in the way, but then I realize I might not look like I'm stalking her if I'm there with a friend, sure. When we get to Peggy's at just after 6 p.m., there are only about a dozen people in there, and right away, my eyes find Lauren. She's talking to Ol Jerry at the bar. She's smiling broadly, and I'm jealous of the bastard. I want her attention. I want her to smile and laugh with me. I know I'm more attracted to her than I have ever been to anyone else, yet it surprises me each time I see her. I keep hoping I imagined how beautiful she was or how intoxicating the sound of her voice and laugh were, but it's not my imagination. It takes my breath away each time. Why is this happening to me? Let's grab this booth, Malcolm says as he slides in. I wanted to sit at the bar like Jerry. So, what did the builders say today about the new Warriors building? Malcolm asks. She's coming over, and I feel my heart rate quicken. Our eyes are locked, and she's smiling as she approaches. Well? Malcolm asks. What is he yammering on about? Yeah, sure. I answer as I direct my attention back to Lauren, as she reaches our table. Hello, gentlemen. How are you doing tonight? Hey. Great. I admit. I'm not lying. I'm suddenly feeling fantastic. I look at Malcolm, and he's smiling like a fool at me. I mind link him, he smiles wider at me. WTF? I'm doing great. I don't think we've met, I'm Malcolm, and this is my friend Zach, he says. I'm Lauren. We haven't met, but Zach and I have, she answers. Malcolm smirks. Lauren scrunches her nose for a quick second and then brushes off his weird behavior. Thank Moon Goddess. You guys want a menu tonight? Or just coming for drinks? She asks. I know what I want. I don't need a menu, Malcolm says, and I agree. We both order our regular. Lauren leaves to go get our beer, and Malcolm is mind-linking me to harass me right away. I thought you had a newfound love for Peggy's Burgers. Now, this makes a lot more sense. More like a newfound love for Peggy's staff. I don't know what you're talking about. You're pretty obvious. Am I? Am I the creepy stalker guy? You are, but she's into you too, so it's all good she is? Are you sure? How do you know? She lights up when she looks at you. It's obvious I'm beaming, my smile is so wide. I can't contain it. Malcolm is grinning and shaking his head at me. I don't know what is going on with me. She's not my mate. I touched her hand, and there weren't sparks, but I can't stop thinking about her. She is consuming me. That is weird. Be careful, though. You don't want to get too deep with someone if you're waiting for your mate. I just shrug. The thought of hurting or rejecting my mate used to be the last thing I wanted to do, but now that's not the case. The last thing I want to do now is give up Lauren. I'm screwed. Lauren's back with our beer. So Lauren, what brings you to this little town? Malcolm asks. She gives him the same line she gives everyone and then looks at me and smiles. What did you do before you came here? He presses. Her face lights up, and she smiles. I worked at a daycare with little ones, she answers. She obviously loved her job. Malcolm got real information out of her too. Maybe it was a good idea to bring him along. Do you miss it? I ask as I hold her gaze. I do, it's easy to get attached to the kids, but I do enjoy this too. Everyone in this town is a real gem, so it's been fun. Two guys walk into the bar and catch her attention. Lauren! They shout and wave. Your food will be ready soon, guys. She smiles and heads towards the two men. Hey guys, she greets them. Thanks to Werewolf hearing, I listen to their conversation. They call her by name, and she calls them by name, so she knows them. I saw the flyer at the gym today, very cool. She beams. Thanks for the idea. I started advertising on social media, and I have 4 new clients sign up today, he says excitedly. He's smiling at her like he adores her. Everyone adores her. She's gorgeous, and she's funny and sweet. That's great. I might have to check it out, she smiles. Oh, look at him gawk at her. Could he be any more obvious? I scoff. He could, if he were you. You're way worse. Only she doesn't seem to reciprocate his feelings, he admits. She nods and smiles at whatever they say to her, then takes their order. As soon as she steps away, I see one of them checking out her, and it has me livid. I hear the guys talking about how hot she is and how much Mark wants to lock that down. Mark. When we're finished eating, we make our way to the bar to have a drink. And by have a drink, I mean get closer to Lauren. Malcolm is actually not busting my balls and is being a good wingman. She moves around serving everyone, but Malcolm and I take any opportunity we can to interact with her, and I take any opportunity I can to steal a look at her. She's so beautiful. Ask her to come and check out our pack. You keep saying that you want to grow the pack, Malcolm mind links me. That's not a half bad idea. When she makes her way back, I make my move. Lauren, do you like being unaffiliated? It's the best way I know how to ask if she likes being a rogue in front of humans. She furrows her brows. It hasn't been that long, I guess I haven't given it very much thought, she answers. Well, maybe you might want to come and check my place out? Maybe it would be a good fit for you. I ask. She looks like she's thinking it over. Isn't that frowned upon? She asks. Referring to bringing a rogue into the pack lands, and she's right, but I don't care. I get to decide, and I don't think so. She smiles broadly. You can come and check it out, no pressure, I add. Sure. That actually sounds really nice the more I think about it. I can't keep the grin off my face. Can I pick you up tomorrow morning? I ask. Sure. What time? 10 am. I ask. Sure. Where do I pick you up? Here, you don't want me to know where you live? I question, and she chuckles. I live in the apartment, and she points up. Oh. Okay. I smile sheepishly. There's a separate entrance in the back of the building, she adds. Okay, well, I'll pick you up then. I decide to finish this beer and get out of here before I do or say something I regret, and she changes her mind. I close our tab and leave a good tip. I had a hard time getting to sleep last night. I was really overthinking what I would show Lauren and what I would say. I just feel a lot of pressure not to mess anything up. I also hope to get a little more information about her past. I lead my first warrior class of the morning at 8 a.m., but I asked Paul and Malcolm to lead the rest of them for me today. I grab a quick shower before heading out. I stop by a great little bakery before I head to Lauren's. I pick 6 cupcakes, a vanilla, a chocolate, a red velvet, a cinnamon swirl, a chocolate peanut butter, and a white chocolate raspberry. She doesn't have a favorite apparently, but she loves cake. Are cupcakes a weird thing to give her? I don't think so. She said she loves cake. I second-guess myself for a minute but decide to go for it. This woman does things to me like no other. It's scary and weird, but also exciting. I pull up behind Peggy's and see a staircase to the attic that Lauren lives in. I wonder if it's a proper apartment or just a bed in a dusty attic. I make my way up the staircase, and when I get to the door, I can hear talking thanks to my werewolf hearing. I can't make out their words, but Lauren isn't alone. Who would be there? I knock on the door, and it soon swings open. She smiles. "Hi," she chirps. "Hi." I respond, and I'm suddenly just as happy and cheerful as she is. She motions me in. She's so beautiful, I have to remind myself to breathe. Her hair is down today. I've only ever seen her hair tied up before, but it's beautiful. She's wearing a loose white sweater and tight dark blue jeans. I also notice her place is small, but it's bright and clean, and it smells so good. It smells like her. A female voice cuts in. "What? Who is that? Is Alpha there already?" A woman's voice comes from her phone, which is on speakerphone. Lauren takes a sharp breath. "Sadie. Geez. Bye." Lauren scolds and then hangs up. I bite my lips to try and hide my smile. Sorry about her. I'd like to say she's not always so obnoxious, but I'd be lying, she says with rosy cheeks. Oh gosh, stop the smirking. She came to that conclusion on her own, she chuckles. I didn't say anything, I smirk, with one hand up in surrender. Her pink cheeks tell me that her friend didn't come to that conclusion on her own, and that brings me so much joy. She looks at my other hand. "What's with the box?" she asks, changing the subject. "Oh, it's for you," I smile and hand it to her. She lifts the lid and sees the cupcakes. Her eyes grow wide, and so does her smile. "Thank you. How sweet. Mm. Let's eat them now," she smiles. It's 10 a.m. Why don't you eat them after when you get home after? I offer. If these are sitting here waiting for me, I am going to be looking for any excuse to get back here, she laughs. I really don't want that. Come on, she motions me into her kitchen. She grabs some forks and offers me a drink. So what do we have here? She asks. I tell her each flavor. Sounds so good, she says excitedly. She dips her fork in the cinnamon one first, and I just watch her. She rolls her eyes. So good, she gushes. I chuckle. I'm so glad I got the cupcakes now. I overthought it for nothing. Get in on this, she orders. I grab my fork and take a bite, and she starts chuckling at me. What? I ask. You went for the chocolate first, she smirks. I knew you were a chocolate kind of guy, she says while nodding her head, and now I'm laughing too. It was a coincidence, I smirk, but I do actually like chocolate cake. Sure, she smiles as she tries another one. We spend half an hour eating cake and talking. She's so easy to talk to, and she's funny. She's always making me laugh, and I love that. When we're ready to leave, she grabs her coat and bag. I can take my car if you want, and I can just follow you, so you don't have to drive me back after. That's okay. I'll drive, I smile, and then our eyes lock. The only way to describe the few seconds we stand there quiet, lost in each other's eyes, is intense and intimate. I want to just pull her in my arms, and if I knew she'd let me, I would. She finally breaks the spell we were under, she says and then shakes her head. Ready? She asks, and I nod. Chapter 10. Lauren's point of view. I can't stop thinking about earlier when Zach got to my place. I'm mortified that Sadie spilled the beans. I think I played it off well, but I doubt he believes she came to that conclusion on her own. I was totally gushing about how good-looking he was, but I didn't expect Sadie to blab, though. We're driving to Zach's pack house now, in his SUV. It's distracting to be so close to him and smell him in his cologne. Usually, I'm a safe distance away from him, but even then, he's distracting. I look over at him. His dark hair isn't very long, but it's got this whole, I'm without trying look. I also never realized that I thought facial hair was so cute until I met him. It's not very long, but it's hot AF. He looks like a man. He's gorgeous. He looks over at me, and he totally caught me staring at him. Instead of turning away like a normal person, I take a second to look at his amazing brown eyes. They're so dark brown, I've never seen anything like it before. He smiles, and I smile back before finally turning to look straight ahead, hoping he doesn't notice my burning cheeks. Why am I so attracted to him? I only became alpha of this pack a few months ago, so I have projects on the go and have big plans for the future of it, Zach says. Really? Your parents waited a while to hand over the reins? In my old pack, the alpha took over on his 20th birthday. How old are you? He looks older and much more distinguished than 21-year-old Nathan. He looks like he's in his late 20s. I'm 23, but I actually didn't inherit this pack. I fought for it, he admits. Wow, I wasn't expecting him to say that. How old are you? He asks. I'm 18. Really? I thought you were older. You act older than 18, he admits. I shake my head. I hope he isn't disappointed. I've always gotten that, I admit. So, where were you before here? What happened to your last pack? I ask. I was the beta in my last pack, which is the largest pack on the East Coast, possibly the country, he explains. That doesn't make sense. No way. You don't look like you fit the beta type. Are you being serious? I question. He smiles and nods. He explains quickly how it all happened, and it's remarkably interesting. So just keep in mind, I have big plans for this place. I've got construction projects on the go, and some planned for the future. I've been training my warriors hard, and I want to expand, he says passionately. I can't help the sting in my heart when I hear that he's ambitious like Nathan. My first instinct is to ask him his thoughts about his mate, but I refrain. He's already given me way more information about his life than I have given him, and I don't really want to open the mate conversation. Do I even want him to want his mate? It would serve me better if he didn't, but I wouldn't want him to turn her down because no one deserves that. At the same time, I have this weird thing for him. We enter the border of the pack lands, and I know because we pass guards. How many people were in your last pack? Zack asks. About 350, I think, and he nods. We're almost 300, so still a little smaller than your last pack, he points out. The houses that we pass on the way to the pack house are cute. The pack house is probably similar in size to Claw Moon's. They're both huge. The exterior is white with black shutters. When the vehicle turns off, Zack hops out. I'm open my door, and Zack is right there extending a hand to help me out. Very much a gentleman. Thank you, I smile. He held my hand an extra second or two longer than he needed to, but I didn't pull away. He looks at me with such tenderness and maybe affection. Can I let myself fall for this man? I know it's not a good idea, his mate is waiting for him. Even if he was like Nathan and wanted to reject her, I don't think I could let him. I don't think I could be responsible for causing that type of pain to someone else. Maybe I should stick to dating humans? Maybe coming here was a bad idea? Are you okay? Zack asks. Yeah, why? I answer quickly. You just look like you were miles away, and it looked painful. I brush off his comment and force myself to plaster a big smile on my face. Sorry. I'm good, I say cheerfully and chuckle. I don't need to think about this now. I'll enjoy the tour and pain myself with all these questions when I'm alone. Come on, I'll show you around, he says, and he seems to have bought my acting, thankfully. First, he shows me the pack house, the large common areas on the main floor, and then he shows me the second and third floor where the rooms for pack members are. He points to the stairs going up. That's my place and my office, he admits. I think he thought about showing me, but he didn't. He also shows me the basement, which is huge. Lots of random boxes piled, and a gym. He explains the plans he has for everything along the way. The new gym will be built in the old Warriors building, and this basement will be gutted and renovated with more rooms for pack members. When the pack house tour is finished, he takes me to a large building that is under construction. From the outside, it looks almost finished. This is going to be our new Warriors training building. Do you fight? He asks. No, I never had an interest in it, to be honest. I hate the idea of hurting anyone, I admit, and he smiles broadly. Are you trying not to laugh at me right now? I question, with mock outrage and a chuckle. No, I'm not laughing. I actually really like that about you, and he says it so genuinely, I almost believe him. You're joking, right? I ask straight-faced, but he shakes his head. Why would you like that? I don't want to fight. I thought alphas wanted everyone to be a warrior. Let's just say, I've learned some things from the pack I was in before. I'll explain it another time, he smiles. Okay, I agree hesitantly, but mostly because we are coming up to a group of warriors training outside. Zack walks to the front of the class, where Malcolm and Paul are leading them. I give them a little wave, and they greet me with a smile and a hey. Zack places his hand on my back to usher me with him. Everyone stops what they're doing and waits for Zack to say something while I stand beside him. I look at him with big eyes, like what the heck? But he just smiles. Good morning, everyone. I want to introduce you all to Lauren, she's a friend of mine, and I'm showing her around the pack today, he states. I'm greeted with lots of happy smiling faces, but not everyone is eager and excited to meet me. Plenty of women are giving me death glares. Zack has quite the harem of women here. I wonder if he's been with all these women, or are they just adoring fans, like me? I feel a sting of jealousy just thinking about the fact that he very well may have had some of these women or all. What is wrong with me? I still technically have a mate. After meeting the warriors, Zack tells me he will take me to the daycare center, which I'm so excited about. I also can't get the women off my mind. I tell myself over and over to drop it and let it go, but I can't seem to. Finally, I crack. I think you're going to have some explaining to do after, I test. Zack looks confused. About what? There were a lot of jealous women back there. They did not like me being friends with you, I smile. But I'm not smiling on the inside. I told myself not to say anything about them, considering I have no claim to him, but I'm going crazy. What is it about him? He furrows his brows. I don't owe any of them anything. They're my pack members, and I'm their alpha. I've never been, more than that with any of them, he starts, and his eyes study me. I wouldn't do anything to disrespect my future, Luna, he adds, and his eyes are searching mine. I take a sigh of relief, and I can't help my smile. See, I knew you were a gentleman, there's no denying it now, I say jokingly, to lighten the mood. He cracks a smile, and it's the most beautiful sight. Lauren I Alpha. You came to visit the little ones. A round older woman with blonde and grey hair says. He smiles and nods, but I can see he's a little irritated that he was interrupted. I wonder what he wanted to say? We make our way into a classroom, and it's the toddler ages 2 to 4 years old class. Zack's point of view. Mrs. Potter interrupted me when I was about to open up to Lauren about my feelings. I was annoyed because I had finally felt like the moment was right, but now the moment has passed. Maybe it's for the best. Maybe I'm rushing things, although how can it be rushing when I crave so much more? What I would give to just hold her close or to be able to kiss her. This is such a fun age, Lauren says excitedly, snapping me out of my thoughts. I introduce Lauren to the women that are working in this classroom. If I thought Lauren's energy was positive and cheerful in the bar, it's times 10 in here. She clearly loves kids, which only makes me think about putting a pup inside her. Ah, what's going on with this little guy? Lauren asks but doesn't wait for an answer as she moves to the other side of the room, where a young boy is sitting looking sad. He was so quiet, no one noticed him except Lauren. Hey, buddy. Are you okay? She asks as she sits down beside him in a little chair. He isn't talking at first, but soon enough, she has him spilling his guts. She's listening to him carefully, and he tells her he misses his mommy, and he's sad. Are you new to play school? She asks, and he nods with a big frown. She looks at him sympathetically. You know, I'm new here today too. This is my first time here. Maybe if we stick together, we can make new friends together. He gives her a small smile and nods. My name is Ms. Lauren, what's yours? Charlie, he answers. Charlie? I love that name. Come on, Charlie. She stands up and extends her hand so he can hold it. Lucky kid. He puts his arms up, though, and she smiles broadly and scoops him up. Did you need a hug first? She asks, and he smiles and nods. Me too. He wraps his arms around her neck and holds her tight. The lucky little guy is just doing what he wants, wrapping his arms around her and holding on. I can't help but chuckle when I think about how envious I am of a 3-year-old. Finally, she walks over to a group of toddlers. She sits down on the floor with them, and Charlie makes himself comfortable sitting on her lap. Hi everyone! My name is Ms. Lauren, and this is my friend Charlie. We're both new here today, and we both wanted to make new friends. Can we play with you? She asks. One little girl walks over, and starts playing with Lauren's hair, and starts talking to her. Soon enough, they are all around her trying to get her attention, and here I am just as bad. I make my way over to the carpet and sit down too. Look, Alpha's here to play too, she adds. The little kids look a little afraid of me. I never come in here to see them, so they don't really know me. Are we shy with Alpha? She asks. The little kids seem to get closer to her when she asks. Alpha is my very special friend, and he's very nice. We don't have to be shy or scared of him, she says, and she looks at me and smiles. One of the older girls in the class, probably 4 years old, says, my mom has a special friend that comes over after we go to bed, but sometimes I'm not sleeping yet. They like to wrestle. They wrestle really loud. Mommy says that they're just pretending, though. No one's getting hurt, but it sounds like they're hurting each other. Do you and Alpha wrestle? Is he your special wrestling friend? She asks innocently. Lauren looks at me with big eyes, and she's biting her lips, trying to contain the laughter. She's stronger than I am. I couldn't hold it in. Little Sally is giving me a dirty look now. No, Alpha and I aren't special wrestling friends, she manages to say semi-straight-faced. Okay, she shrugs. Maybe that's what Mommy and Daddy do after they tuck me in. I thought they were singing, but maybe they like to wrestle too. I'll ask Mommy after, little Joseph says. Okay, let's play a game, Lauren interrupts quickly and then smirks at me. No wonder she loves working with little tots, they're hilarious. After a game of Duck Duck Goose, Charlie is feeling better, and the kids have welcomed him into their little circle. Should we continue the tour? I ask. Sure, she nods, and we stand up. We have lots of work to do, so we have to go. Thank you so much for letting us play with you. Can I have a hug goodbye? She asks and bends down. Instantly the kids are throwing themselves at her. She's laughing and smiling at the show of affection. She's so beautiful, but not just on the outside, on the inside too. Now one for Alpha too, she asks. The kids aren't as eager to get their arms around me. I might have been safe enough to play duck duck goose with, but hugging is a whole other story. He's not as scary as he looks, she chuckles. See? Come here, Alpha, she says, and she stands back up. I come closer, and she wraps her arms around my waist and hugs me. She's hugging me. I wrap my arms around her, and I don't ever want to let go. She pulls away but leaves one hand on my back and faces the kids. See, he won't bite, she says, and the kids slowly start to come over. We bend, but I keep one hand on the small of her back, and she keeps hers on mine, and the kids come in and hug us both. It doesn't feel like she's tense at all. This is so natural for both of us. I can't deny the feelings I have for her or how much I want her. I feel like I just got lucky because I got a hug and our hands rested on each other's backs for 10 seconds. The close physical contact is washing away any doubts in the corners of my mind I had about choosing Lauren and not waiting for my mate. I want Lauren. I don't care about anyone else, and I don't think I could ever be more attracted or drawn to someone. She's perfect, and not just for me. She'll make a great Luna. I'm going to tell her today. I need to. I can't keep it in. Lauren thanks the women for letting us visit. No thank you, dear. You really helped Charlie out of his funk. He said he was new, but he's been coming for a week now and has been sulking in the corner the whole time. We tried to get him playing, but no luck. This is the first time he's been interacting with the other kids. His mother will be thrilled, Mrs. Potter explains. Lauren is frowning. Poor Charlie, she says softly. She's such a sweetheart. I love the way that she interacted with the kids and the way they at once loved her. We leave, and Lauren seems to have a little extra pep in her step now. Next, I take her to the rec hall. Hey! Alpha! Nice to see you taking a break, Chuck, an Omega custodian says. Thanks, Chuck. Hey, how's Charles? I ask. He is great, Jill's great. We're happy beyond comprehension, he chuckles. Good. I'm glad to hear it. Chuck, this is Lauren, a friend of mine. Lauren, this is Chuck. His mate Jill just had a baby boy last week, I explain. Nice to meet you, Chuck. Congratulations on the baby, that's so exciting, Lauren beams. Thank you, it really is. I was just on my way back home. Jill just called and needs a hand. We say goodbye, and I start showing her around. Chapter 11. Zach's point of view. Just like I predicted, you're very approachable with your pack. You seem to know everyone's name, which I'm thoroughly impressed about. Most alphas pay attention to those closest to them. Officials, advanced warriors, family, and maybe the cute she-wolves, she chuckles. You even know Omega's names and who they're mated to, and the name of their kids, she nods approvingly. I like that, she adds. My heart is pounding out of my chest at her praise and approval. I stop walking to look at her. She stops and looks up at me. Thank you, I'm glad that you appreciate that. So do you like it enough that you'd want to join my pack? I ask. Maybe. It's something I need to really think over. It's a big commitment, and I just need to be cautious for a little while, she admits softly, looking down. I put my finger under her chin and pull it up, making her look up at me. Why? I ask softly. She looks into my eyes, and I can see the worry in them. I don't know what the right decision is right now. I have a past, and I just don't want it to catch up with me or anyone else, she says softly. Her face holds so much pain. A single tear falls down her cheek, and she quickly wipes it away. I can't even help it. I don't know if it was reflex or maybe it was instinctual, but both hands cup her face, and I kiss her cheek where her tear had been lying just seconds ago. I continue to hold her face in my hands and hold her gaze. Who are you afraid of? I ask. Her face scrunches a little, and she shakes it a silent plea for me to let it go. I'll take care of you, protect you, you just have to let me, I whisper. I let go of her face, and my hands fall to her arms. She doesn't pull away, though. In fact, she gets closer. Her hands find my waist, and they slide to my back as she leans in to hug me. I don't hesitate to wrap my arms around her and embrace her. I'm so grateful for this moment. I want to freeze time and savor the way her body fits into mine perfectly. Why would you want to take care of me and protect me? She asks while her head is still buried into my chest. She looks up at me, and our eyes meet. You know why? You have to know. I'm crazy about you, I admit. I'm not sure who started moving in closer first, but our lips met. I slowly started to kiss her, and she's kissing me back. I am kissing her. The feeling of her lips on mine is unlike anything I have ever experienced before. Her hands wrap around my neck, and I deepen the kiss. She continues to kiss me, and her fingers lightly scratch the nape of my neck. This feels good. I want more of her, all of her, but I want everything with her. She's my forever, and I remind myself of that as I pull away. It goes against everything my body is telling me, but my brain is telling me she might be vulnerable, and now is not the time to get heated. As I pull away, I smell her arousal. I need to start talking to get my mind off the fact that my woman is aroused by me. She might not know it yet, but she's mine. I'll do whatever it takes to make her mine. Our foreheads are together, do you trust me? I ask gently. I do. She admits without hesitation, which feels incredible. Then tell me. Tell me who you're running from. Tell me everything. I'll tell you, but can you just give me some time? Give me 1 week, and I'll tell you everything. After that, we can lay everything out on the table, and we can figure out what we feel and what we want, she says. I know what I want you, I insist. I'm not your mate, though, she rebuts. I don't care. I've never felt like this before. I'll never want someone more than I want you, I say confidently. She smiles and looks to the floor for a second before returning my gaze. I've never felt like this before either. I've never been as attracted to anyone as I am to you, and everything about you is. I don't know how to describe it, but I can't get you out of my head. That's also terrifying because there's a very real possibility that I get hurt, she explains. I won't hurt you, I can promise you that. If you knew how I felt about you, you wouldn't be worried, I assure her. She smiles broadly, and then somehow, we're kissing again. I can feel the desire she has for me as she pulls me closer. Alpha, I hear a woman's voice call. Lauren pulls away quickly, obviously embarrassed that we've been caught. I don't even look to see who's calling me before I lean in to give her one last kiss. She's looking at me with so much love, and I'm done for. Alpha, I hear again. I keep my hold on Lauren but turn to see who's talking to me. It's Jolene, and she has a sour look on her face. What is it, Jolene? I ask, annoyed. First, she interrupts us, and then she has the nerve to look pissed. No. Mrs. Potter says your friend left her phone at the daycare, and it was ringing, she says with attitude. I walk to grab it from her. Watch your tone, I warn her. Sorry, Alpha, she says quietly. She stands there, staring at me. Her eyes bounce back between Lauren and me. Thank you for bringing it. You're excused, Jolene. She nods and leaves, and I hand Lauren her phone. Peggy called a few times. I should call her back and make sure everything is okay, she says, deep in thought. I nod, go ahead. Hey Peggy, I just noticed you had called. Is everything okay? Pause. Oh no, is he okay? Pause. Of course. Pause. I'll be there. I'll head over now. I'm about 10 to 15 minutes away. Pause. It's completely fine, don't worry about it. I'll see you soon. She hangs up the phone. Sorry to cut this short, but Peggy's brother had a heart attack, and she's at the pub, and she has deliveries scheduled to be in soon, and she wants to go to the hospital to be with him, but she can't because someone needs to be there to accept the liquor and food orders. She asked me to come in and sign for deliveries and open at 3 p.m., she explains. I hope Peggy's brother is okay. Come on, I'll get you back. In the car ride to Peggy's, we keep the conversation light. We didn't get to eat lunch at the pack house. Why don't I order something and have it delivered to Peggy's, and we can eat when you're done? I ask. She smiles, that would be really nice. What are you up for? I don't even know what this town has, you know what's good, and I'm not fussy, she insists as we pull up. Do you like Chinese? I love it, she smiles. When we get inside, I sit at the bar while Lauren heads in the back to find Peggy. I pull out my phone and call the Chinese restaurant. I'm not sure what Lauren likes, I didn't have a chance to ask her, and I don't want to interrupt her and Peggy, so I order a huge variety of things. Probably enough to feed 10 people. Peggy comes out of the kitchen with red eyes, and stops when she sees me. Were you with Lauren? I nod. Sorry to hear about your brother, I add. Thanks. You remember what I said, right? Yes, ma'am, I nod. She nods and then walks towards the door, but it opens before she gets there. A large guy walks in, and I smell his wolf. Right away, I'm on guard. Hey, I was looking for Lauren, he asks Peggy. Lauren? I don't know a Lauren, she responds. What is going on? Lauren Crane, he asks again. Nope, never heard of a Lauren Crane. It's a small town too, so I definitely would have heard of her if she were in Red Riverview. He furrows his brows and nods slowly. I'm closed right now too, and I don't open for hours, sorry. She says and escorts him out. She looks back at me knowingly, and I nod. I know she wants me to tell Lauren that some strange man was looking for her. When we came in, Peggy was receiving the liquor order, and Lauren took over, so she's still in the back. I get up and look out the window to get more information. Is he alone? I take his license plate number and car description. I see him start his vehicle, getting ready to leave. I head back to the bar to grab my phone and mark down the license plate number before I forget. I know someone who could run his plates for me. I need to tell Lauren. I only hope she doesn't run when she finds out. Maybe I can convince her to stay at my pack house to keep her safe. What would he want with her? I put my phone down, and as I was getting ready to go to the back to find her, she came walking out, looking through paperwork. Lauren, I start. Lo, I hear loudly. I turn quickly, he's back. Lauren gasps and jumps. The papers in her hand fly to the ground as she turns towards him. Chapter 12. Zach's point of view. Her hand is on her chest, and when she sees him, she lets out a sigh of relief and starts chuckling but doesn't remove her hand from her chest. I instantly feel myself calm down. She's obviously not afraid of this guy. I just realized in the split second that I saw her afraid, I had moved to only a few feet away from her. I guess my body was ready to protect her, even though my brain had no idea what was going on. Julian, you scared the crap out of me, she laughs. Didn't recognize my voice? He asks, with a chuckle, and walks towards her. No, I was distracted, and no one calls me Lo here, she admits, as she leans against the bar for a second to catch her breath. When he gets closer, she moves to him comfortably and opens her arms to him. What are you doing here? She asks lovingly, with a big smile. I wanted to make sure you were okay, he says while holding her in a hug. What? She smiles and looks up at him. I tell you every day when you call that I'm fine. Lo, I know you well enough to know you wouldn't tell me even if you weren't fine. I needed to see for myself, he says. She steps back. I'm really good. You didn't have to come all this way. It's good to see you though, I missed you, she smiles. Who is this guy? Lauren. I say, staring daggers into this. Julian. Oh, Zach, she smiles. This is Julian, my brother. Julian, this is Zach, she smirks, obviously aware of my jealousy. I feel relief wash over me. Thank Moon Goddess, I didn't rip his head off right away, that would have created some real problems for our relationship. I see you have a bodyguard, too actually. The older lady tried to scare me off too. I thought I had the wrong place for a minute, her brother smiles. Loud banging starts coming from the back. Oh, that's the food order, she says, panicked. She opens the bar fridge and grabs a Budweiser and a Corona. She pops both lids and hands us a beer. Please be nice to each other, she says with pleading eyes. I smile and nod. Then she heads to the back to accept the order. Her brother and I chat, and he seems like a decent guy. I can tell they are close. Soon he starts pressing me about what type of relationship we have. Are we friends? More? We barely figured out what we are, and I don't want to speak for Lauren. Thankfully, his phone starts ringing in front of him. Saved by the Bell Zero are more like ringtone. I see it says Alpha, he mutters under his breath and clicks ignore, then pulls back a large swig of his beer. A few minutes later, Alpha is calling again. He rubs his face and then quickly clicks ignore again. You can get that, you know. I say, not sure if he's ignoring it because of me. He nods with a tight smile. Soon Lauren comes out, finished with her order. Both still alive, that's a good sign, Lauren smiles. Then Julian's phone starts ringing again. Julian turns his phone around to show Lauren, and she looks worried. She nibbles on her lower lip, and her brows scrunch together. Her eyes bounce between me, Julian and the phone. He keeps calling, Julian says quietly, almost just for her. Answer it then, she frowns. She looks to me and puts her finger to her lips, motioning to be quiet. Alpha. What's up? Julian says as he answers the phone. Pauses, he rubs his face, and puts his phone down and presses speakerphone. Julian, I told you I don't know where she is. Lauren is covering her whole face with her hands, with her elbows leaning on the bar. Alpha, well, where are you then? Lauren lowers her hands a little to see him, eyes wide, and she shakes her head at him. Julian, I told you, I wanted to go and visit Sadie. I've missed her. We're friends too. Alpha, I know what you said, but Sadie is at the pack house for the weekend. So you want to tell me where you actually are? Lying to your Alpha? Not a good start. You're with her, aren't you? Julian, I'm not with her. I swear to you and the moon goddess. I am looking for her, though. I haven't heard from her in a week, and I'm worried about her. I left to see if I could find her. I'm checking places that we visited or talked about visiting. No sign from her yet. I didn't know if you would let me go, but she's my sister, and I love her. I'm worried. Alpha, where are you now? Julian, I stopped at some place in the middle of nowhere for a piss. I don't even know the name of the place. I'm going to get a bite to eat and head out. But why do you even care? Alpha, I felt something earlier. I think she's with someone else. Amen. Julian looks between both of us. She looks even more upset now, or maybe scared. Julian, Alpha, maybe you should accept her rejection? Move on. This is what you wanted. Rejection? Does she have a mate? An alpha mate? And she rejected him? My head is spinning, and the thought of her belonging to someone else does not sit well with me. Not one bit. Alpha, I am your Alpha. You don't tell me what to do you hear me? Julian, yes, Alpha. I apologize. He says through gritted teeth. Alpha, you find her. You tell me. You got that? She's still mine. Julian, yes. If I find her, should I tell her you changed your mind about Blair? Who is Blair? Alpha, don't tell her anything. Blair is none of her concern. Julian, okay. Alpha, I want daily status reports. Julian, yes, Alpha. Click. Julian is rubbing his face. You swore to Moon Goddess. Lauren says quietly. I don't care. I just want you safe, he sighs. What is going on? I ask harshly. That was Lauren's mate, or I guess, my Alpha, now, Julian responds. So I did hear that right. I rejected him. I didn't want you to find out this way. This is why I wanted to wait a week until the next full moon so that the mate bond would be completely broken. I'm sorry, she says, both her tone and her face is pleading for forgiveness. I hate to see her upset, it hurts me. I jump off my stool and move behind the bar to her. I pull her into my arms and rub her back. It's okay. I get it, I reassure her. So he did feel you with someone? Julian asks, one brow raised. We just kissed, Lauren responds. This is weird, Lauren. This isn't like you. Are you okay? Are you losing it because of Nathan? He asks. No. I'm fine, she says sharply, and she looks disgusted by that accusation. You won't understand. I don't even understand, honestly. I don't know what it is about Zach. I can't even fully describe it. Try, he pushes. Well, I'm more attracted to Zach than anyone ever before, even Nathan. I might have felt that intense mate bond pull to Nathan, but it was different. With Nathan, he never said one word to me until he found out we were mates, and after that, he was only ever cruel to me. He took pleasure in hurting me. I started hating him quickly, you know that. It was like my body had a pull towards him, but my head hated him. When I rejected him, the physical pull was gone too. The further I got away from him, the less I felt anything towards him. I'm even sleeping again too. Aside from the chest pains I sometimes get, which I'm guessing is him screwing Blair, I feel nothing. Even that doesn't bother me. With Zach, she pauses, looking up, making eye contact with me for a second. I see a light tint of pink forming on her cheeks. I smile, and then she looks back to her brother and continues, I'm very physically attracted to him, and also to him. His personality. All of me wants him. All of him, and I can't stop thinking about him, she admits to her brother. Hearing her very honest description of her feelings for me has me feeling all sorts of giddy. Yes. Giddy. Suddenly, it's as if everything fits in my mind. She's my woman, and even if we're not mated, we have something special. Really? I ask, and she smiles and nods. And I've never felt an attraction and pull to someone like I do to you. I can't stop thinking about you either. I feel like I'm going crazy sometimes. I have always said I'd wait for my mate, but I'm willing to walk away from my fated mate for you. You consume me, I admit. She smiles so broadly and pulls me closer, resting her head on my chest. Maybe you're her second chance mate. Julian asks. Lauren pulls away and looks at me. Do you think that's possible? She asks, wide-eyed. I think about it for a second. Actually, I do think it is possible. I've felt very possessive of you since the first time I saw you, and I actually thought you were my mate at first because of the way I was so drawn to you, but when I touched you there were no sparks. Really? She beams, and I nod. Well, you'll find out in a week, after the full moon, Julian says. I hear the door close, and I look behind me. Oh, I forgot I even ordered food, I chuckle. You ordered all that? Lauren asks, looking at the man with 4 bags of food. I didn't know what you liked, I admit as I let go of her and go to the delivery guy. I pay him, and he puts the food on the table. I hope you guys are hungry, I chuckle. Lauren grabs the plates and cutlery, and Julian and I take everything out of the bags and open it up. I sit next to Lauren in the booth, and Julian sits across from us. I'm always hungry, but right now, I'm not thinking about food. I just want to be alone with Lauren. I feel like we've moved past so many barriers. I just want to hold her, kiss her, and talk about so much with her. I feel like she very well might be my fated mate, and that brings me so much peace and joy. I can tell it does for her too. What a day! Lunch was good, and so was the company. I got to know Julian better, and I learned more about Lauren too. They seem close, and I'm glad we're getting along so well. Julian receives a call, and excuses himself, and goes outside. I take the opportunity to lean into Lauren and kiss her temple. What if you're not my second chance mate? She blurts out. I don't care, I'd still choose you, I reassure her. I've just been on the other side of it. Having a mate that didn't want me, that wanted someone else. I would hate to have a part in hurting someone else like that, she explains. But look at you now, you're happy without Nathan, I point out, and she agrees. I suppose. It would have been a lot easier if he would have just rejected me instead of wanting to hurt me repeatedly. He was a fool to let you go, and I hate the way he hurt you, but I'm happy you're here with me today. Me too, she smiles. Should we be cautious and take this whole thing slow? At least till next week? I don't want you to feel any sort of pressure. It's a big step if we're not mates. I don't want to give myself to someone if they don't want the same things I do, she says, and she's searching my eyes, looking for answers. Hearing her talk about giving herself to me has every part of me buzzing with excitement. We can go as fast or as slow as you want to go, no pressure. I know I won't change my mind, though, I reassure her. After everything you've been through, I wouldn't say I was sure if I wasn't, and at that, she smiles and sighs. Okay then. Okay, you want to take this leap with me? I ask. I do, she admits excitedly. Hearing you describe how you feel about me and getting everything out in the open has really confirmed a lot of my feelings. It also made me accept them, process them, and realize we're in this together. I can't believe how much things changed today, she says. I completely agree. It made me feel like I wasn't crazy. The fact that we both feel this strong pull to each other tells me that regardless of fate, we have something special here, I add. She leans in, and we share a quick, chaste kiss. As soon as our lips part, I pull her body closer, and then I gently pull her face closer. When her lips are grazing mine, I say what I've wanted to say since I first met her. And what I've been dying to say since that was on the phone claiming her. Mine, I say firmly. She smiles into my lips and then kisses me again. I was expecting something chaste, but my possessiveness did something to her. She's climbing on top of me, straddling me, and kissing me with just as much possessiveness. It's so hot. I hear the door open, and I want to growl. I pull away from her, and she's smiling. She slips off of me and beside me again. Her brother is looking at us, shaking his head. I can't even blame you since she was on top of you, he says to me as he sits. Listen, it's none of my business, but maybe you guys should wait until after the full moon to mate and get physical. If he feels you both kissing, he'll really feel, if you do more. I think you should just try and stay out of his mind until after the full moon. Hopefully, he'll move on then and accept it, but at least he won't feel anything after the full moon. I don't want to wait, Lauren says firmly, and I basically choke on the air. For the first time, I think I'm blushing. Are you okay? She asks as she rubs my back. Yeah, sorry. I just wasn't expecting you to say that, I admit. Yeah, me either, Julian says with disgust on his face. Sorry, but don't look at me like you haven't overshared with me, she says with one eyebrow raised to Julian. Fair enough, he smirks. I was just talking to Justin, and Alpha is kinda freaking out, and he's saying messed up stuff, and I think it's in your best interest to wait, Lauren. Please. You probably shouldn't even be kissing either. His eyes are pleading with her. Why? What did he say? Tell me. She demands. Please. He begs. I have the right to know. Tell me, she insists. He huffs. He's talking about how he should have rage you when he had the chance, he nearly whispers, and a large growl rips through my throat, and I pull her closer. Rage? Like rape? I roar. Julian shrugs. I guess so. I don't imagine he thinks Lauren will be a willing participant. His theory is, if he does, he'll be able to get her out of his head, apparently, he adds, all while never making eye contact with Lauren. I look at her, expecting her to be upset, but she seems numb to it. Her face is emotionless, but she's shaking her head. She's mine, and no one is laying a finger on her. I'd like to see him try. I'll rip him apart, I growl. What was the name of your pack? I ask, feeling nothing but rage. I'm going to kill him. No. Zach, he's venting and just talking. Let him. He has no idea where I am. I'm so far away that he'd never find me, she assures me. He didn't send out a search party or anything. He's just talking, Julian assures me again. Now I'm shaking my head. I just think if he felt you guys being physical, it might send him over the edge, he explains. She rubs my back and looks up at me. I'm fine. Did you hear that? Aside from asking Julian if he's seen me, he isn't doing anything to find me, she adds, and I nod. You should move to the pack house, I say firmly. She smiles and pats my arm. I love my little place, she admits. You need to be guarded and kept safe, I reason. It's a 10 to 11 hour drive. I'll have plenty of notice if he makes a move, she adds. Plus, he's not likely to find me anyways, she adds. Lauren, I start, but she cuts me off. Look at the time, I have to get ready to open up in the next 20 minutes, she says and motions me to move out of the booth so she can get out, but I don't move. I stare at her, waiting for her to agree to move to the pack house. She lifts her up off the bench of the booth and scoots over me, brushing her up against my adulthood. I can't even get up and chase after her right now, not without both of them seeing me pitch a tent. Is she always this stubborn? I ask Julian in frustration. She's not really that stubborn. Give her a little pout, and ask nicely, he smiles. Honestly, Lauren is the sweetest person. She likes being independent, but if she thinks for 1 second that you're stressed and worried about her, she'll cave. She hates hurting people. That's what makes this whole thing with Nathan that much worse. She'd never hurt a soul, and here he is, going out of his way to hurt her of all people, he says, shaking his head. I hate him now, Julian adds. Me too. So why do you stay there? I ask. I tried to run away with Lauren, but she wouldn't let me. Now, I don't know. My mom's there, and to be honest, we thought she was going to be able to come back eventually, he admits. Well, take your mom, and join my pack. You are more than welcome. I have some rooms available in the pack house, and I could get a place for your mom too, I offer. Really? I would really appreciate that. I'd seriously like to take you up on that. How do I serve a man who wants to hurt my sister? I need to spend some more time at Claw Moon to make sure I can keep an eye on him, so I can keep her safe. When this dies down, though, I'd love that. Thanks, man, he says and extends a hand to shake mine. I'm in better condition to get up now, so I make my way to Lauren as she's bringing ice out to the bar. I'm going to head out, I have some work to do, but I can come back and pick you up after work. You should be staying at the pack house. I'll get you your own room and everything. I'm just worried about you. I care about you, and it scares me to think about you being alone and unprotected, I admit. I'm totally using her brother's advice, but I'm not lying. I am worried about her. Her face scrunches like it really bothers her that I'm worried. She really is the sweetest. I'll be with my brother tonight, so I won't be alone, she says. Plus, he's 11 hours away right now, and Red Riverview isn't on his radar at all. Let's talk about this after he leaves, okay? I smile and nod. That's fair. Thank you, I say and pull her in, wrapping my arms around her. For what? For just being you, I smile and lean in to kiss her, but I stop myself. Do you think we should listen to your brother's advice? I ask. Maybe, she admits and kisses my cheek. Chapter 13. Lauren's point of view. Julian is up in my apartment having a nap, and Zach has gone back to his pack house. It's crazy to think about how drastically things have changed today. It seems crazy that I spent the last week fang-earling over a man, and then suddenly we're in this relationship forsaking all others. It feels right, though. So right, and I really think he's my second chance mate. If he's not, we obviously have something very special if we both feel the same, so it seems right. It seems like relationships in the werewolf community tend to go from 0 to 100 very quickly, so it really shouldn't feel all that strange. It's 4 p.m., and it's been dead. I decide to send Peggy a text and see how they are holding up. Me, hey Peg. Everything is going smoothly here. No need to worry. How are you? How's your brother and his wife? Peggy, I'm glad to hear it, darlin'. He's doing okay. He's stable right now, and they plan on proceeding with surgery in the morning. My sister-in-law is a wreck, but we're holding up okay. Me, I'm glad he's stable. Did you want me to have food sent over? Peggy, no, that's okay. We'll be fine. My cousin brought sandwiches for everyone earlier. I'm going to try and be there at 7 p.m. I know that's when it really starts to pick up, and I don't want to leave you alone like that. Me, Peggy, you have done so much for me. I am happy to take care of the bar tonight on my own if you want to be with your family. I can handle it, I assure you. Me, seriously. Peggy, I don't know what I would do without you. Thank you. Me, my pleasure. I put my phone away and got some music going in the bar. It's Friday, so tonight is supposed to be a busy one. I periodically head back and talk to Jerome while he does some prep work. I explained how Peggy might not be here tonight, so Jerome has offered to stay late, after the kitchen closes at 10 p.m., and serve drinks with me until 1 to 2 a.m. I feel pretty confident now. Jerome made me a burger at 5 p.m., even though I'm not hungry, I know I won't be able to eat again tonight because it will be so busy. Customers start trickling in after 5, and Jerry is my first customer. He's always such a joy to serve and such a sweet old-timer. At 6:30, Julian enters the bar, starving. He sits at the bar for a few hours eating, drinking, and we chat in between serving people. By 9 p.m., things are starting to get busy. Julian is keeping busy too now with some pretty girls. I'm doing less interacting and small talk than usual, but I feel like I'm keeping up with demand even better now that I'm mostly serving drinks and no one's ordering food. Zach, Malcolm, and Paul all come in at 9:30 p.m. and are forced to sit at a table since the bar is full. I bring 3 Budweiser over before even having to ask because it's always the same with them. You're doing this alone? Peggy's not back yet. Zach asks, looking concerned. Jerome is going to hop up front at around 10, but we've been handling things pretty well so far, actually, I admit. Can I help you with something? He asks. You're so sweet, but I've got this under control, I say truthfully. Lauren, someone calls and lifts their beer up, signaling they're out. I raise 3 fingers and he nods. Enjoy your drinks, gentlemen, I tell Zach and the guys. I grab Joe his 3 cores and add them to his tab. I'm basically going from one table to the next. Lauren, I didn't see you today. I hear. Hey, Mark. Yeah, I know. I had to come in early for deliveries to cover for Peggy today. My brother is in town, and we plan on coming in tomorrow morning, though, I tell him, and then I point to Julian with the ladies. He nods, and I notice Zach's eyes are burning into Mark. I can see that you're crazy busy tonight, so make sure you take some time to talk to me tomorrow when you come in. There's something that I've wanted to talk to you about, he smiles. Sure, so what can I, babe? Are you sure I can't help you with something? Zach cuts in and wraps his arm around my waist. It takes everything in me not to laugh. So possessive. I've got it all under control. You're the world's sweetest boyfriend, though, I smile, and he's beaming with pride. He obviously wanted to mark his territory, and I won't deny him that. If the roles were reversed, I know he would do the same for me. Boyfriend? Mark asks. Yup, I smile. That was fast. You've only been here a week, Mark says, confused. Well, when you want something, you have to go for it, Zach smiles. I nod and give him a peck. So, what can I get for you, Mark? Actually, I came in here looking for someone, but they're not here. I'm going to take off, he says. Okay, take care. He walks away, and I turn to a smiling Zach. Jealous, are we? I ask. He pulls me into his arms and holds me close. I'm not jealous. Why would I be jealous? You're mine, not his, he states. The way he gazed at me possessively, mixed with the tone of his voice, and the way he possessively said I was his shot chills down my spine and sent a heat between my thighs. I'm at work, what is wrong with me? I'm at work. I remind myself again. I just wanted him to know, so he could FK off. I heard him talking about you the other day, and I watched him checking you out. I wanted to shut that down, he says. Okay. Feel better? I ask, and he nods with the cutest smile. Good, now I need to get back to work, I finish, and give him a quick peck. You're not going to give me a hard time for that? He asks. I just smile and shake my head, and he smiles broadly that smile. When I get to the bar, Jerry is giving me a hard time, jokingly, so, I guess I'm not your favorite anymore. You got yourself a fella. Oh, Jerry, no one can compete with you. Just don't tell him that, I smile and give him a wink. Your secret is safe with me, he smiles. At 10 p.m., as planned, Jerome came out and served behind the bar while I took care of the tables. Peggy showed up a little after 11 p.m. and seemed surprised that the place was running so smoothly without her. She thanks me and Jerome and then insists that we take the rest of the night off. I tried to argue, but she insisted she needed to serve people to wind down. I head straight to Zach's table and sit beside him. I'm done. I smile. Can I get you a drink, babe? Are you hungry? I can run to the diner and get you something, he asks. He's so thoughtful. No thanks, I'm going to head up and have a hot bath, I admit. I'll walk you up, Zach offers. I say goodbye to Malcolm and Paul and let Julian know that I'm heading up, but to take his time. Zach grabs my keys and unlocks my door for me. I can run your bath for you, he offers. He comes in and turns on my bath water for me as I flick off my shoes, and flop myself on my bed and lay down. Bubbles? He asks. Yes, please. The yellow bottle. When he's done, he walks over to me. Give me a hug. I'll see you tomorrow, he says. Come give me a hug, I say as I lift up my hand to him. You're bad news, he smirks. I reach up, grab his hand and pull him into my bed with me. We both lay on our side, and I cuddle into him. This is nice, I hum. His strong arms are wrapped around me, and our bodies seem to fit so perfectly together. We haven't had a moment alone to just be together. I just needed this, I admit, and I feel him breathing me in. Me too. It feels like this is where you're supposed to be. Wrapped in my arms, he adds. After a minute I look up at him. He's so handsome. I look to his lips. I really want to kiss you right now, I pout. Me too, he sighs. I'm sure he can't feel a peck. It's so quick, and we kissed like that in the bar, I reason. I look up to him and look to his lips again. I move in to give him the quickest peck. I pull away, and my heart is racing, and I feel like my body is actually aching for him. I peck him again, but I don't pull away as quickly this time. After a few pecks that progressively last longer and longer, I grab his lower lip with my teeth and give it a light tug. He groans and pulls me closer and kisses me. His tongue brushes past my lips and finds mine. Yes. Oh my gosh. This feels so good, I can't get enough of him. I climb on top of him, and we continue to kiss. He's not holding back at all anymore as his hands explore my body. Finally, he pulls away. The water, his deep voice pants. Oh! I jump off of him and run to the bathroom to turn off the water, which was pretty close to overflowing. Zack gets up and I see him rearranging himself. I smile because I'm glad I wasn't the only one thoroughly aroused. Look what you do to me, woman. He smiles, and I make my way back to him. I wrap my arms around him. We can't kiss if we're alone, he says and raises his eyebrows at me, and I roll my eyes. I can smell your arousal, Lauren. Let's hope your brother doesn't come back right away. Maybe you should crack a window, he smirks proudly. He holds me tight for a few minutes, then kisses my forehead and makes his way to my door. I don't want him to go, though. I hand my keys to him and ask him to give them to Julian so I can lock up and go to sleep after my bath. I had to let a little water out to get into the tub, or it would overflow. I get in and go through my music on my phone, deciding what I want to listen to when my phone dings. Zack Slade, the guys said I smell like you. Me? Oh no. When CE face I edit my contact information and add 2 hearts after Slade. Zack Slade. Join our Facebook and WhatsApp group for more updates, link is given in description.